One of my TikTok friends asked me to sing a song for you. I hope you like it. You're about to lose your job. You're about to lose your job.
Whenever you're talking about the lawyers and deploying lawyers on both sides, Chuck, you know we've reached that moment that we were hoping to not reach. By the way, Casey Hunt also joining us to talk about what's happening on the Hill. So take us through the map, because a lot of folks maybe just
Let's catch up. That's exactly. Wisconsin is something in the last 3 hours. We got some vote out in Milwaukee, and you can see here some vote is trickling in. Even in the last 45 minutes, Joe Biden's lead is gone from about 7,500 votes to 11,000. So he's really blowing the doors off here right now. And look, it's the assumption is, and I say assumption is not a guess, most of what's being counted is stuff that was vote by mail. And we know statistically that's likely to lead Democrat. But again, we heard Gabe Gutierrez said, I think Green Bay's coming in. Well, Green Bay is Brown County up there. I love my Packers. It's a Republican leaning area. But the vote by mail is Democratic, but you don't know, and so you don't want to make any judgments there. So Wisconsin, look, trust me, we're going to get the recount rules going here. I have a feeling.
I think you have to request it. I looked them up.
We're going to have to know that one. Let's go to Michigan. You heard Claire McCaskill has some confidence there. We'll see, as the numbers have come in, this is really tightened. It was a 4-point spread, I believe, when we started at 6 a.m. this morning. We're now down to less than a percentage point. The difference is just 45,000. We can tell you it's all mail-in vote. I mean, we've been monitoring that all night, and we know there's a lot more.
The orange is the mail-in vote. The yellow is the day of vote.
And we know that there's still, look at this, there's still over about 850,000 votes to count. And there's a 45,000 vote difference. This is why Democrats feel, I would say, cautiously confident about Michigan. And by the way, Casey, in case you're wondering, the Senate race and the presidential in Michigan are starting to align. And that is not good news for John James, who needs to overperform Donald Trump by a point or two.
John James is the Republican challenger.
Challenger to Gary Peters, the Democratic incumbent there who's trying for a second term. It does look like those two are going to go together, for what it's worth. And then we've got Pennsylvania, and let's just be honest here. This is a lot of ground for him to make up, and yet there's a lot of votes still out there. Nearly 1.8 million uncounted votes.
And where are those coming from?
Everywhere. Okay. I mean, again, it's in the mail, so we know, due to all the great polling that we all trust these days, we know, but we're pretty confident that there is a Dem lean to the mail-in ballots. We don't know by how much. It could be by a great deal. We know that we know Allegheny County stopped counting. They won't start till 10 o'clock this morning. Pennsylvania is something, vote's going to trickle in all day long. We're all going to get comfortable getting to know Pennsylvania a little bit. But let's see, it's a lot of vote to make up, but there's a lot of vote to go. By the way, Maine, because that 2nd congressional district could come in. Biden's going to win 3 of these electoral votes. This lead keeps expanding as it slowly comes in. But let me just show you what's going on here with the congressional district vote. Hang on here. There it is.
You have to ask nicely.
I know. It's cranky, too. So here's our 2nd congressional district. And even as this vote has come in, I have not seen this margin shrink that much. Yes, it's 15,000 votes, but this is a very rural district. We still got a ways to go. But it looks like Trump's got a good shot at keeping that. And look, that Maine 2nd congressional district, it's rural, working class folks. In some ways, it matches every other Trump area that we've seen in any other state.
Can you swing out west? Let's do the Sun Belt states.
We'll do that. We'll start out in Nevada. This is where we've gotten vote most recently. We talked to John Ralston, our reporter, contributor from who's the editor of the Nevada Independent. And he still thinks, he said the remaining ballots are mail-in ballots. They're from the 2 big counties, particularly Clark County. So it should be, and as he said, the Democratic machine. But look, it's a 7,600 vote gap here. Again, what's left appears to be advantage Biden, just like we said before. In this, we haven't been able to sort the difference between the same day and the early registration. So this is one where, I trust John Ralston. He knows his stuff, but that's a very narrow vote gap there. And then very quickly, we've got Arizona. Come on, guys. Let's get to Arizona. There we go. We haven't gotten any new vote in here in a few hours. That's going to be a while. There's a reason there's that. And then Georgia, we haven't gotten any new vote in yet either. But we do expect this to continue to narrow, and we'll see.
Well, there are so many contested races. We barely got to spend our time with Casey, but don't worry because we've got hours and hours of coverage. But real quick, I think we misspoke at the top of the show because, in fact, Democrats at this moment seem to have reduced their majority, lost some seats in the House, and the Senate looks to stay in Republican hands, although the votes are still being counted.
Yeah, we've called the House for Democrats, so we believe Nancy Pelosi is still Speaker at the end of the day, or at least Democrats in control. But this is not what we expected going into the night. I mean, we were pretty sure, certainly all of my sources were saying, both Republicans and Democrats, that Democrats were going to add to their majority in the House. And overnight, while we are still, these votes take a long time to count, and kind of the way we look at them just takes a while. So we're not going to know how many seats, but all of my sources are now saying they think Republicans are going to pick up a couple of seats. And very quickly, Savannah, one thing I'm watching, Chuck was going through Pennsylvania. We're going to learn a lot about it. I grew up in Chester County, which is outside. It's a Philadelphia suburb that's really switched from red to blue over the last decade or so. We are expecting potentially to get a big batch of votes. My sources are telling me there, maybe around 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning. That's a place where if you see a very strong Biden margin, he really needs it to be very strong in the suburbs to actually have a hope of ending up winning Pennsylvania.
Because there's a wide margin right now. At the moment, the president ahead, but there are a lot of mail-in votes to count in Pennsylvania.
You're about to lose your job. You're about to lose your job.